Hey friends, welcome back to Fierce Encouragement. This is Mark Walker, and this is a podcast where we bring a mix of mindfulness, mental toughness tools, and even a little dash of rebellion in the way you can lead, the way you can parent, and perhaps the way you show up in this messy, messy world. Today's episode, it's called You've Got to Be a Little Delusional to Change Your Life. And this morning, I had the privilege of sitting across from a gentleman named John. He's a banker in my area, and I met him through LinkedIn. And if you're out there listening, John, thank you very much for the coffee. And we shared some stories over coffee, and it turns out he's about 2 years into his banking career after 20 plus years in the publishing industry and being a leader there. And past that, he's also raising a couple teenage daughters. And you know what really hit me during our conversation, at least the thing that's like resonating with me now, is how scattered our modern minds have become. How hard it is to pay attention to anything for more than 2 or 3 seconds. And how much of that is bleeding into our parenting, our leadership at work, our relationships, and especially that relationship with our own mind and our own self. So have you ever maybe told your kids to get off their phones, and meanwhile you're doom scrolling on your own and maybe have the TV on and your computer on? Well, me too. You're not alone. Guilty as charged. I wanted to share a quote from Jonathan Haidt, H-A-I-D-T, and he wrote the newer book called The Anxious Generation. Wonderful book, big book, sobering book. But here's the quote from Jonathan. "We've raised a generation in an environment that is to their minds what a polluted river is to their lungs." Pretty big quote. We currently live in a time where our attention is fractured and it's a polluted world right now. So much information coming in. So that's what I wanted to kind of talk about today. And just to outline it quick, the first thing I wanted to discuss is why being delusional might actually be your best strategy right now as you go forward. The second thing I wanted to share is the tool of digital sunset. It is a really dead simple tool that can change how you sleep, how you mentally focus, and ultimately how you feel any given day. And finally, I wanted to share how eating a frozen pizza could also be a spiritual practice. So let's get into it right now. So a quick confession. Sunday afternoon, it was a beautiful day here in my city, and I got out for like an 8 to 10 mile bike ride around the city. It was just wonderful. Had a great time. The sun was shining, and I was really soaking it in, just being present. I really made an effort to not have headphones in and not be on my phone, but just enjoy the day. And as I got home that night from a long bike ride, just enjoying the day, well, I threw a frozen pizza in the oven, and I crushed that thing. And yep, and maybe for some context, I've been on a pretty hardcore new keto-ish diet lately and really dialing that in and seeing some weight loss and feeling more cognitively sharp during the day. I think that's the biggest thing that I've noticed. But that Sunday bike ride and something when I was riding down the street, not too far from my house, something in me said, "Mark, chill out. Eat a dang pizza tonight." I don't know about you, but pizza is one of my favorite meals, and it's like I always look forward to it every week. Usually it's on Friday, but this time it was Sunday after a nice bike ride. And well, you know what? I did. I threw the pizza in. I really enjoyed that pepperoni pizza, and it was glorious, especially after about 14 days on a keto diet, eating just lots of meat. I think the moment, oddly enough, was when I ate that pizza and really enjoyed it. It was a form of discipline for myself, I think. And it's not about being rigid or overly militant with our mind, which I'm really good at. I don't know about you. But maybe there's something else there. Maybe it's about choosing. Maybe it's about being that kind of parent or leader for yourself in your life who chooses with intention. When we let guilt or shame or our algorithmic engineering programming mind, we let that just drop a little bit. We steer away from perfectionism and steer towards like a balance, a mental balance. And of course, we don't want to overdo it, but at the same time, we want to savor and appreciate those parts of our life. Because listen, and I think this is important, this is really important. You can be sober and still not be free. You can be disciplined and still be anxious. Freedom comes from inner balance. It's the ability to let go without letting it all go. I guess it resonates to me as that emotional sobriety or that emotional balance, not being caught up between the afflictive fangs of emotion. Here's a quote from Joseph Campbell. We must be willing to let go of the life we planned so as to have the life that is waiting for us. We're really good at planning. Our brains go to planning all the time. I think it's really good practice to start, obviously, developing some soothing practices for our nervous system and get better at choosing our intention. Because just by white-knuckling it with sobriety or being disciplined in our work, it doesn't mean that we're free from the things that we might be running from. So it's kind of like one layer down from the addictions or the hyperactive mind. What do we really want from this? How can we let go so we can go towards that life that is waiting for us, as Joseph Campbell so eloquently wrote? Food for thought, big food for thought. And it might come in the form of a frozen pepperoni pizza. Moving on to the next section, I wanted to talk about a thing that I keep coming back to with my clients, my boys, my kids who I've helped with this, and even myself. It's that phone. And it isn't even a phone anymore, right? It's a computer that's in our pocket. And listen, these things are amazing devices. If you're old enough to remember before phones, wow, whether it's driving across your state and finding an address or moving money around your bank account in a moment, or just messaging somebody across the world, like some friends I met in Greece last November, or even to look up a quote from Joseph Campbell or Marcus Aurelius or your favorite author. You can have it in your hand in 5 seconds or less. And this new era of AI, it's going to just blow more of this out of the water. We're moving so fast. But these same devices that we have in our pockets and in our hands, they're paper cutting our awareness. They're pulling our attention away from what really matters to us. We're constantly engrossed in the phones. We can't even take a walk down the street without having the phone in our face. Take a look around sometimes. Maybe you've seen it. Put your phone down and look at everybody who can't even get through the grocery line without pulling out their phone. And it's kind of comes back to this anxiety, this low-level hum that we have. Again, they're amazing devices, but they are pulling our attention away every moment and really killing the quality of our life. And I don't think it's small. I think it's something we need to be very, very cognizant of as parents, as leaders. But I wanted to share this tool, and it's something that's really powerful, and it's something that I learned from my coaching program, and I believe they got it from other leaders and thought leaders and writers. But here's the tool. It's called a digital sunset. So every night, set an alarm that reminds you to stop all your digital inputs for 30 or 60 minutes before bed. Truly, turn the TV off, set that alarm, finish up your program, and get the TV off. Turn your podcasts off. Turn the music off. Turn the news off. Put your phone down. Discipline in that moment. And again, you're not alone. self-compassion here. These things are engineered to fracture and pull our attention away, whether it is from news or scrolling or Candy Crush or whatever your default mode is on your phone. But when we pause and give ourselves that digital sunset alarm, we can literally let our mind unspool. When we do lower impact activities for our cognition, things like reading some poetry, picking up that fiction book that we might have got, a year or 5 ago, or maybe we recommit to our meditation practice for a few minutes every night, or our prayer and our studying of the Bible. Perhaps we even do something lightly physical like stretching or a good 10, 20-minute deep breath practice. Hell, just stare at the wall for a few minutes and relax. Whatever slows you down. And bonus points, if you can incorporate some lower lighting. So, having the blue light or the very bright lights in our eyes is not productive either. We're not signaling to our brain that it's time to go to sleep soon. So think of red lights, obviously think of zero screens, and have a little playfulness here. It takes time for us to get used to this, to spool our minds down, or to kind of defrag the computer at the end of the night. The kids won't know what defragging is, but if you're old enough to have an older computer, you know that we had to defrag it. So why aren't we doing that for ourselves every night? The paradox is that we wind ourselves up with news or scrolling or, more videos or more podcasts. And then we wake up at 1, 2 in the morning and we're like, why is my mind on? Well, it's because your nervous system needs quality time to process the input. It needs integration. And meditation, as Dr. Daniel Siegel has shared, helps us integrate that upper creative cortex into the things that we've ingested all day. So think of it like your stomach. You're constantly putting information, aka food, into your stomach, and you do that right up until sleep. Well, of course you're going to have indigestion. We have indigestion of the mind, indigestion of the consciousness. So if you truly want to commit to better sleep, more balance and mental peace in your day and in your life, and be more creative in your work, inviting that creative mind in, well, I'll tell you, make a commitment to yourself to stop cramming dopamine triggers, aka, scrolling or watching news or whatever it is for you. Stop cramming that dopamine down your throat until the moment you pass out at night. Bring some awareness to it. What are your habits at the end of the night? And commit to that 30, 60-minute window and play with it. See what happens. You'll find yourself going to your phone. So maybe it's putting it in a drawer and on airplane mode or completely off. Make a commitment to it, and I challenge you to see what your next week or two of sleep is like. Another quote from Jonathan Haidt from The Anxious Generation. We have made adolescence into a trap, with too much freedom in some ways and not enough in others. The same goes for you as an adult, if you're an adult listening out there. Now, in this age, we have infinite freedom to consume information and sports and news and movies, all on, right on our fingertips. But I want you to consider this, and this is a true invitation from my heart to yours. I want you to create your own off-ramp, damn it. Get off of the wheel of constant inputs and get curious about how you can tune in your sleep, tune in your mindfulness, and really be more present in your life. The next section I wanted to kind of talk about as we close up the podcast here is thinking about us as, this is the truth. Most of us don't need these productivity hacks, right? Maybe we don't need the digital sunset. I would challenge that, but we won't do that right now. The fact is, what is the digital sunset? It's space. It's space for you to listen to yourself. It's space for all of us to hear ourselves, to hear our mind, to look at our mind stream. to ask the hard questions of ourselves. What's important now? We need to learn to listen to the sacred or even the scattered parts of our mind and ourselves. We need to get clear and open up to those parts of us that have ignored. And I'm working on this too. I really am. In fact, this week, like I mentioned at the beginning, my coach said to me, you got to be a little delusional to be a coach. And my first reaction was like, what the heck are you talking about? But it's true. She said to me something that really stuck. It's hard work, and you're kind of going against the current of society when you decide to go out on your own. It certainly doesn't feel safe. But as I get a few years into this now, I know it's what I was made and born to do. So I wonder where that could kind of come into your life. You don't have to be an entrepreneur, but if you're out there trying to create your coaching business, if you're trying to be a creative and come into your life in a different way, I want you to bring that into your mind. You have to be a little delusional to change your life, to step into entrepreneurship. That's the game we play, and we almost have to welcome it and continue to work on ourselves in a really deep way. This hit me because it's true. You got to believe in something different in order to have those results that come after, right? You have to believe before you have that evidence. That's what I'm trying to say. You have to move through the fear or the doubt and the hesitation that your nervous system is giving back to you, right? You have to believe you're safe to change. So you have to believe you're safe to change. So telling ourselves, I'm safe right now, let me take that next step forward. And honestly, as we kind of finish up, this is the deal. If you're feeling stuck, wobbly, or you're just ready for your next level, or just to see what might be possible for you, because sometimes it's hard to see the path we're on. To think about Joseph Campbell, if you're on someone else's path and it's trodden already and worn down, that's not your path. It is going to feel wobbly. You're going to feel stuck at points, but don't let that discourage you from going forward and towards those dreams and aspirations of your life, because we only get one life. We truly only get one life. And I want to invite you to apply for a free strategy session with me. During the session, we can focus on a 3-point plan together, and there's 0 strings attached to this. The link to connect is in the show notes. So please apply. I would love to hear from you. I always enjoy the strategy sessions with people I meet from the podcast. And listen, we just kicked off week 2 of my awareness lab, if you've caught some of that in my past episodes. And I'm really fired up about the conversations that are happening there and the people I'm connecting with. Mindful awareness is something we need more of in this life. And kind of like I talked about at the beginning, when we kind of constantly fracture our attention, we can just feel less than, and that kind of pulls our energy down and obviously affects our other habits. But if you missed this round of the Awareness Lab, please stay tuned. More is coming. And in fact, I'll just throw a link in the show notes as well. If you're interested in a group session with people who are more committed to having a solid meditation practice, join me there and leave a message, and I would love to connect with you. And to kind of close up here, this is another quote from Joseph Campbell. "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek." That cave might be a strategy call with me. It also might be a new daily rhythm, with your digital sunset. Again, it might be putting that phone down and breathing for a few minutes before you head off to bed. Whatever it is, step into it. You're worth it. And you do not need to be perfect. Let go of perfection. Perfection is the lowest standard you can have for yourself. You just need to be willing to step towards it. Get on your path, on your heroic journey. And maybe you need to just be even a little unreasonable. Again, this is Mark Walker. I want to thank you dearly from my heart for listening. Always, always stay fierce. Keep encouraging yourself. Stay kind, and know that you are worth the effort. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Have a great evening. And we will catch you next time on Fierce Encouragement. Bye-bye now.